furniture and other objects from the library. In previous lectures, we learned about materials, landscape, and vegetations. Let's go to the next step and add furniture and other objects from the library to our project. So here is our project with materials and vegetation. Let's open the library. We are done with the first two folders. Let's go into the furniture folder. Inside furniture folder, we have 5 subfolders: home, city, primitives, decals, and particles. In home folder, we have folders for furniture that is mostly used indoors. Inside living room folder, we have a library for sofas, chairs, interior plants, storage, decorations, and so on. I encourage you to explore them for each type of space you will be working on. Next to the home folder, we have city folder, and inside it we have folders for furniture that is mostly used outdoors, like street benches, bollards, planters, fountains, trash cans, street lights, and other very nice and useful objects for outdoor. Next, we have primitives folder, and here we have basic primitive objects like boxes, cones, spheres, cylinders, just basic geometry objects. Next, we have decals, very useful for adding zebra lines, drawing on the streets, and other asphalt drawings. Next, we have a folder for animated particles of water, smoke, fire, and fountains. Let's go through this fabulous library step by step to add more amazing objects to our project. Let's start by the garden space here. I want to put some tables and chairs in the garden. Simply, I will go inside living room folder, then tables folder, and pick one of these. Let me drag and drop table 01 to my scene and position it. Table 03 is also suitable for outdoor gardens. Let me choose some seating for the area under the canopy here. I can choose this group of seatings like that, and I can rotate it. And also I can click on one of the elements, for example this yellow chair here, and I can copy it without the need to copy the whole group. Let's go inside plants folder and pick some plant pots to decorate our villa. One very useful folder in this library is the street lights folder. Let's pick up a lamp post to put it next to our pool here. This lamp post has a very cool feature, which is if we change the daytime to night, the lamppost actually glows and emits lights on the surrounding. Most of these lampposts have this feature. When turned back to day, the light automatically closes. Let me add multiple lampposts around my swimming pool, and they will look amazing at night time. We can also use these lampposts around the path that we have here to light it. We can select these two here, then by pressing Shift and drag to that axis to make multiple instances of these lamp posts. I will continue adding lampposts around the gardens as needed. There are some very interesting items in this library. For example, we have a folder for construction. Inside it, we have some very nice construction sets that we can use creatively in our projects. We also have a folder for flags. When we drag and drop that flag into our scene, we notice that this flag is animated and we can change its texture with any flag that we like. Just search Google for your desired flag, save the picture next to your Twinmotion file, then go to Texture and press Open. And yeah, by the way, Twinmotion automatically directs you to a folder that has most flags of the world. We can search Egypt from here, and here is the flag of my country. Press Open and it's applied to that flag. We can edit reflection and wind speed. When we press wind speed, it takes us to weather effects, where we can change wind speed and direction of the wind on all the scene, not just the flag. We also have an interesting folder for advertising that has some very interesting street billboards. Some of them can be customized with whatever materials we want. Some are not. We also have this folder for simple primitives that has some basic geometrical elements like boxes, sphere, and so on, which can be useful in some cases. And we have a folder for decals. It has some drawings like zebra lines for street. Simply drag and drop it to our scene and adjust its option. I recommend checking it out. It has some sewage elements, graffitis, wet spots, cracks, and dirts. Ventilation elements, signs, and so on. We have them all under decal categories here. Select the last one, press Shift, then select the first one to select all the decals and delete them for now. So, depends on your project, you will apply what's needed to make things as beautiful as you can. Another very interesting folder we have is particles. These are some very cool animated fire, smoke, fog, fountains, and waterfalls. Let's apply that to our scene. I have here a barbecue grill. Let me add some smoke coming out of it. Maybe some fire too, if I would like, but I don't think so. For this sitting area inside the pool, I will add some fire in the middle. I can add some wood too from vegetation folder. Copy them around with some adjustments. And we have some cool wood for the middle fire here. I encourage you to try out these particle elements like fog, dripping water, and animated water jet. Now that we have taken advantage of the amazing library in Twinmotion that will be very handy and will help us complete a large percentage of our projects, furnitures, and details. But what if we want a specific element that we don't have in the current library? Check out the answer to that question in the next videos. Import external 3D objects to Twinmotion. In this lesson, we will learn how to import external objects to our Twinmotion library. Let's open our scene, and let's say I want to put some special seating objects here that I don't have in the Twinmotion library. We can simply get these objects from the internet. There are tons of websites that lets you download all sorts of high-quality 3D objects, free or paid. I will provide some links in the resource sections for you to check it out. Anyway, I got this seating set opened in my 3ds Max program now. Let's select everything, then go File, Export, Export Selected, navigate to where I want to save it, give it a name, and it will be exported as .fbx. Now we will go to Twinmotion, press Import. Next to your file, press Open, navigate to the FBX location on the hard disk, select the file, and press OK. And now it's imported inside Twinmotion. Its coordinates in Max is the same as its coordinates in Twinmotion. If I looked around and I can't see it, it's gotta be hiding somewhere in my scene. I will open the object list, set the filter to all. I can type SO as I name it, sofa and chairs. And there it is, sofa and chairs.fbx. Select it and move it around and position it correctly. Now this seating set will need Twinmotion materials to be applied to it. Let me go up to Materials, Fabrics, and pick a material for the seating cushions. Then maybe we can go into Wood folder and choose a wood material for the seats and table and adjust it. Let me go to Fabrics again and pick a better match for that dark wood and adjust it. Same goes with that flower box. Pick a wood material for it and pick a soil material for that soil part here. We can go to Vegetation, go to Bushes, pick a bush, scale it down, and maybe pick some flowers, scale it down, and copy it around using Shift plus Drag. Change scale of the copies to give it some randomness. And now we have our seating area imported, adjusted, and good to go. We can start adding more decorations to our scene to make it more detailed and beautiful. Here I pick some plant spot from the Twinmotion library, adjust it, and copy it around. We can continue improving the scene by adding more beautiful details from the library. I went to Decorations folder and found this beautiful drawing stand and thought it would be a great idea to put someone who likes to practice drawing outside in the garden here. So I got the stand, searched for a painting board, adjust it, then find a suitable chair for that, adjust it, maybe add a little table for the colors. Really, it's like have fun with it. Play around with those objects in the library, improve your scene, and let it be fun. So now that we learned how to import and adjust external 3D objects to Twinmotion, let me teach you how to get amazing object from a very special internet website in the next video. How to get high quality 3D objects from the internet. There are tons of internet websites that offers 3D objects. Some are free and some are paid. In this lesson, I will reveal my #1 best website to download high quality 3D objects that we can use in Twinmotion using the technique that we just learned in the previous lecture. The website is 3dsky.org. What's so good about 3dsky.org is that thousands of 3D artists all over the world compete to provide the best 3D objects for you. These 3D objects start off as free, and as they get more likes, they turn to pro models that you can buy for $6 each. So these artists can make money selling these objects online. We will use that to our advantage. First, we will go to 3dsky.org and register an account. With that account, you can download 3 models per day for free. Let's check how it's done. So after you register and log in to 3dsky.org, you can either browse from these categories or search what you need in the search box up here. Let me search for outdoor furniture and hit enter. As you can see, we have these filter and buttons here. Currently it's showing all pro models. Let's press free and now it shows all the free objects we can get. Now I can hover over and choose. Maybe this nice hammock would be nice. Let me click the middle mouse button so I can have it opened in new tab. And this deck chair sofa is beautiful. Let me continue to page 2 and oh, I like this swing bed. I would love to have it in my villa. Oh, some seatings too. You see, just by browsing around, we can get some cool ideas for our designs. Just remember, we can download only 3 objects for free per day, so we want to use that wisely. After a while browsing and searching, I decided to download this beautiful chair swing. Let me press download here and start downloading. And same goes with the other models. After download is complete, we will find a compress WinRAR folder. Let me move them to our work folder and extract them all. When we go to the extracted folder, we will find some photos of the model, the 3ds Max file, maybe some textures and .obj file as well. Let me drag that Max file into 3ds Max and choose Merge, and there we have it. Usually I prefer to ungroup everything, then convert everything to editable poly, then attach them together into one object. And OK for multi-sub-object materials. Then File, Export, Export selected, give it a name, and save it as .fbx. Then go to Twinmotion, import, open, select it, and OK. And same like we did in previous videos, move it around, put it in a good position, give it a Twinmotion materials, adjust it a little bit, and there it is. A beautiful object from 3D Sky to your scene. And what we did to this object can be done to any other objects that you get from any internet website or library. Adding and customizing a special user library. In this lesson, we are going to learn how to add and customize our user library. User library is a folder where we put all our favorite stuff that we prefer to use and want to have quick access to it in our projects. Down at the libraries on the left, we have this folder called User Library. If we click on it, now it's currently empty. We can add our favorite objects and materials in here, and it will be available in this project and any other future Twinmotion projects as well. For example, this chair that we imported earlier, I want to have it available in my user library for future projects. I will simply select it, then it will be highlighted in the object lists on the right. If I can't find it, I will need to set the filter to all. So once selected and highlighted, I will click these three dots here, go down to Add to User Library and click it. And it immediately adds what's selected to the user library. So now I have it here available in the library with materials applied to it and everything. So whenever I need this chair, I will simply drag and drop it to my scene and position it. We have here that plus button that lets you add category folder, so you can organize this user library however you want. We can right-click and choose to rename this category folder into maybe chairs, and I can drag and drop that chair inside it. I want you to take care of a common mistake that happens a lot. Let's say I want to have this sofa in my library, and I highlighted its components in the object list. Right-click and Add to User Library. In this case, only the cushion got added and not the whole sofa. To have it correct, we should either have everything attached as an editable poly in 3ds Max before we import, or when we select the things we want in the object list, we select the whole container that has all the objects in it. In our case, that folder like outersofa.fbx. Right-click, Add to User Library, and we have the whole group of this outer sofa in my user library. Now when I want to put another copy on the other side of the pool, simply I will drag and drop it there and position it correctly. Using what we have learned, we can now add beautiful details and complete our scene furniture. Take your time to search for beautiful stuff and match things together with a good taste in your projects. Get more 3D objects using BIM-Objects. BIM-Objects is a new feature in Twinmotion 2019 version 2. If you have Twinmotion 2019 version 1 or older, you will not have this feature available. So what is BIM-Object? BIM-Object is a new feature that provides access to free, instant, and unlimited download of more than 350,000 smart BIM objects from 1,300 manufacturers directly to Twinmotion library. That means we can download 3D objects of brands that you can buy in real life. So when you search TV, for example, you will get 3D models made by Sony, LG brands that you can actually buy in real life if that design is going to be built. Let's open Twinmotion and try that out. As you can see, I am using Twinmotion V2. First, we will press the Urban button here. We will find that button called BIM-Object. Click it, then click BIM-Object Catalog. When you click it, it pops up a window that connects to an internet website, and it will ask for a login information. For your first time, you will need to create an account. And you can use your own Google, LinkedIn, or Autodesk account to easily create that account. For me, I will use my Google account as I already created an account with it. I will click Google and press Allow Access, give it a while to load, and there it is. The BIM catalog is here. It's pretty simple interface. We have search box up here, we can browse categories here, and we have the objects thumbnails down here. And we can scroll down to choose whatever object we like. When we click on the small icons here, we browse categories. First one is construction category, and here we have a very detailed construction elements. Then categories for doors, electrical, electronics, fire products, furniture, HVAC, kitchen, landscaping, lighting, medical, sanitary, and windows. Let's search for bedroom, for example. Take care, it's now searching for bedroom in Windows category. We will need to close this category filter to get more results. We can also press filter by brand if we want to choose only from one or more of these brands. Now let's pick an item to download. For example, this Plaza bed, we will click it, then its page open with the specifications and descriptions. And we have here a button called Send to Twinmotion User Library. Press it and let it download. And there it is. The bed has been added to our user library. If we close the BIM-Object window, we can now add this bed to our scene. It is ready to use with Twinmotion materials applied to it. Let me delete it for now, and let's take a look in our user library. We will find that a new category folder has been created named BIM-Objects category, and inside it the bed has been added automatically. Let me go again to Urban, BIM-Objects, BIM Catalog, and let me search for chair outdoor. Pick a chair and press Send to Twinmotion User Library. Let it download, and it's added to User Library next to the bed we downloaded earlier. And here is our chair. The best thing about BIM-Object is that you can search for actual stuff that you can buy in real life. For example, if we searched TV, we have brands like LG, Sony, and Philips. If we choose one of them, we have its full name and size. We can search its price and availability online if we want to buy it. And if we downloaded it, it gets imported to our design with the correct scale, Twinmotion materials, and life is easier with that BIM-Object feature. I encourage you to dive in that BIM-Objects library. You will find many beautiful objects to choose from and incorporate it in your workflow. Lights. Lights is one of the easiest things to add in Twinmotion, yet It affects the presentation greatly and adds beauty to our designs. In this lesson, we will learn how to add lights to turn our presentation from this to this. As you can see, I added lights around in my villa garden and pool. Let's move on to the entrance part and try out some lights. And yeah, by the way, some objects like this street lamps here already comes with its own lights. But if we want to add sources of lights in general, we will go into our library and add lights from here. As we are moving step by step, we have learned materials, vegetation and landscape, and furniture. The time has come to discover the folder of lights. Let's go into lights folder and let's try some lights. We will first start by omnidirectional light. We will simply drag and drop it to our scene. And there is our light source. It is like a lamp that sends light in a spherical shape around it. We can move it upwards, move it around. Let's position it in this space here and let's discover its options. First, we have on or off switch from here, and under it we have more, where we can add IES light shapes. We will get into that later. Then we have intensity, where we can increase or decrease the light power like that. Then we have reflection, and that option determines the percentage of how this light appears in the reflection of materials, like when we come near and notice that wood material here, for example. By decreasing this reflection value to 0, our light will not show in reflections. But when we increase it like that, now reflections of that wood is affected by our light. And then we have color. We have this slider that changes color on a Kelvin scale from warm color to cold color. If you haven't heard about color temperature, it's a scale used globally that sets the color of lamp lights, giving that color a number with Kelvin units. Let's go to Google and search for light temperature. And if we go to images, we will find many photos that explains that. For example, this photo shows how the lamp colors go from low, like this orange color, to high, like this xenon bluish color. If we go to the next photo here, we can see this orange lamp has a color value of 1000 Kelvin, and the color range here moves up to 10,000 Kelvin. In the middle here, around 5000 Kelvin, is the white color. Let's apply that to our light. Now we know if we go down, that lamp color becomes reddish and orange, like that first lamp with the smallest value. And as we move up, that color changes all the way up to bluish xenon. Let me increase that radius to see it better. But what if we want a color out of that Kelvin scale? Then we have this small More button to set it. Just click it and choose from the palette. And there we have our beautiful purple color. I personally like to play with light colors whenever I have the chance. Mixing some light colors gives very interesting effects in our scene. And then we have radius, and that's affects the volume of how far that light affects the scene around it. Then we have shadows option. It is now off, but if we make it on, then now we have shadows for our objects in the scene. Then we have day cycle option, on or off. If it's off and we change the time to daytime, then this light will still be opened. But if we made it day cycle on, then once it's daytime, the lights will go off, and when it's night, the light automatically goes on. And that's all the options for this type of light. We have here spotlight. Let me drag and drop it to our scene, and let me move it around, and there it is. Let me make another copy and position it in front of the door. Press F to zoom, and let's check out its options. As you can see, it has the same options as the omnidirectional light, but the only difference is that this is a spotlight and it has a couple of options to control the shape of that spot. So lights on or off the same, intensity the same, color the same. The new option here is the angle that controls how spread or focused that spotlight is. And the other option that is different is attenuation. How far does that spotlight affect its surroundings? So if we decrease that attenuation, it will only affect near areas like that. And as we increase the attenuation like that, it affects further areas from the spot. Shadows on or off, same as the other light, and also day cycle. We learned about it earlier. And then we have neon lights. It's used to present lights coming out from the long neon lamp. Its only different in options is its length, whether it's long or short. And remember, it is just the effect of light coming out from the neon lamp that doesn't include the lamp model. The rest of the light types we have in our library is different shapes of IES lights. They are mostly spotlights that gives different shapes of lights on the walls. In our library, we have 30 different shape of IES lights. Let's choose one and drag and drop it to our scene here, next to the wall. And as you can see, this spotlight draws some interesting shapes on the wall. Its options are exactly the same as the spotlight options. We can control the angle and the attenuation. And they are all the same, but with different shapes on the wall. This shape on the wall is controlled by external files called IES files. If we searched Google for IES files, then we get all sorts of shapes of spotlights that we can download and use them in our scene. Let me go to All Search and let me open one of these links. For example, this Leo Moon Studios. Then we scroll down, we have a download button here. So we can get them and they are mostly for free. After downloading and extracting this IES pack, here is the folder of the IES files. Change the view to extra large icon, and that is the file and that is the photo of its effects. Let's choose one and apply it to our scene. For example, this star. Let me open Twinmotion As I select one of the spotlights or IES lights, under Light here, we will press More. From here, we will change the IES files. Click here and press Open. Navigate to the star.ies file and click Open. And now that external file .ies controls the shape of the light inside Twinmotion. And that's all about the light folder and how we can use it to make a very beautiful night scenes to our project. Adding animated characters to your scene. After we added 3D objects and furniture in previous lessons, it is time to add characters to our scene. Adding characters to your 3D scene improves your visualization message greatly. It adds a sense of scale and a perception of how this space is going to be used. And in Twinmotion, adding characters is so easy and fun. Let's open up our scene, and in the library on the left we have Characters folder. Inside it we have 4 folders. First one is Humans, where we have a good variety of models for 3D people. The second folder is Groups, where we have collections of people grouped together talking to each other or standing in line. The third folder is Cutout, and these are 2D photos of people cut outs that we can add to our visualization. Then we have Animals folder, where we can find pre-animated animals. Let's start with Human folder, and let me add a character to our scene by dragging and dropping it like that. Once it is in the scene and selected, its options appears down here. First option is Cloth Color. That is where we can choose different presets for the character's clothes. For this character, we have 5 presets to choose from. The second option we have is Pose, where we can choose from these poses. We have Speaking, we have Idle, we have Sitting, we have Lying, we have Dancing, we have Special, and we have Worker. For each type of pose, we have several animations for it. So if we choose Speaking, there is Speaking 1, Speaking 2, and Speaking 3. And the same goes for all the poses. For example, if we choose Special, we will have special animation options like Swimming, Swimming 2, Playing Piano, Playing Games, Disabled on a Wheelchair, and Disabled 2. Same goes with Lying. We have 2 animations for it. Sitting has 4 different animation, and so on. So, let's add some characters to our seating area here. First, we drag and drop a character from the Humans folder. Make the pose sitting and position him correctly on the chair. Maybe we can pick this lady too and choose Sitting and position her correctly on the sofa. And there we have some life to our seating area. Let's also add another lady to the drawing area. Drag and drop, choose Sitting, choose Suitable Animation, and there we have our lady artists. Let's add some people in the swimming pool. We have here some people in their swimming suits. Drag and drop, choose the cloth color, make the pose special, make the animation Swimming 1, and position him correctly in the pool. Repeat to give him some friends to swim with. And there we have our pool, got some people swimming in it. With the exact same technique, I will add people around the fireplace and some groups around different places in the villa. Some kids in the playground area and let them play. Put someone next to the fireplace and a lady sitting at the table here. It's really that easy. Let's add some of the 2D cut out people. They are cool instead of adding people in Photoshop. Those 2D cutouts are fantastic and they always be aligned correctly with the camera view. But they are not animated. They are great for still shot images. We can simply drag and drop it to our scene, and we are good to go. Their options down here are picture on or off. In some cases, visualization artists like you may like to have people as a silhouette, so they don't be a distraction, and we can choose the color of that silhouette from here. They give some cool artistic feeling to the shots. And lastly, we have animals. We have a very nice animated animals in here. They are so cute. We have cat, dog, horses, goats, and lots more. What I personally like and can be nice in a villa like ours is butterflies. Simply drag and drop and they will be flying around that area. Those fish too, I used them before in one of the projects where we used to have lakes, and they were so cute. And that's it for now for the characters and animals. I encourage you to dive in the library and play with them. They are really fun. In later lectures, we will learn how to let those characters move around in buses and ride bicycles. But this lecture is for adding animated characters that don't move around. Adding vehicles to your scene. In this lesson, we are going to take another step further and we will learn how to add vehicles to our scene. Let's open our scene in the library. There is a folder called Vehicles. Inside it, we have 6 categories, folders. We have cars, buses, boats, aircrafts, 2 wheels, and miscellaneous. Let's start with cars. We have many cars types to choose from. All we need to do is just drag and drop it to our scene, just like that. Once dropped and selected, we have an option here in the middle to change the color. Simply we will pick one of these and it will immediately change. It's that simple. Let me drag another car to the streets here in front of the garage. Rotate it and position it at the garage entrance like that. From here, adding more cars parking at the street is so easy. Just drag and drop, rotate, change color, position, choose another one, and repeat the steps. Next, we have a folder for buses that we can add to our scene. Just drag and drop it to our scene if we like. There is another folder for boats. If we have a scene that has a sea or ocean in it, that folder have some very nice zodiacs, boats, sailing ships, and yachts. Then we have aircraft folder where we have hot air balloons and aeroplanes that are so nice. We can add them if we are making an airport or just add them up in our skies. So these are very nice library, but don't let it limit your imagination. If you need something that is not in the library, remember you can always get 3D models from the internet. Let's say we want a helicopter and it's not in the library. I can go online, get it, and it's no problem. Next, we have the two-wheeled folder, where we have bicycles and motorbikes. Let me pick a bicycle and add it to my villa. And let me add a cool motorbike parked in front of my villa too. And lastly, we have miscellaneous folder, where we have cranes, trucks, and construction vehicles. Some of them are animated doing some simple task. You see, we have here digger, which is a still object, and we have here animated digger that comes with some sand piles and digging animation. Same with the animated mixer truck and other nice animated construction vehicles. With vehicle folders, it was never been easier to add cars, bikes, planes, or even construction vehicles to your scene, so use that to make your scene amazing. Volumes. As we keep on progressing through the course, moving step by step through the library, the time has come to check out the folder called Volumes. Let's open Volume folder, and inside it we have 4 folders: Section, Water, Sounds, and Reflection Probes. Let's start with Water Volume, as we talked about it earlier in this course with Materials lesson. We have here Water Cube and Water Cylinder. Let me drag and drop Water Cube to our scene. It is suitable for rectangle swimming pools like we have here, and we tried it out before. Once dragged into our scene, we can scale that volume around using these stretch points like that. We just pull that point and the size of that volume will change accordingly. It has 2 options down here: Aspect and Enabled. When we click Aspect, we can choose from 3 pools color presets, and Enabled has on or off switch whether we want that volume enabled or not. We have that volume in cube, and we have the cylinder too with the same options. Then we have a folder for sounds. Inside sounds, we have sound effects for people, nature, and city. These sound effects are made to be added to our scene, so when we export our scene into a game-like BIM-Motion and walk around the spaces we have, each space will have its ambience sound effects. If you have ever played a video game like GTA, for example, every place in the game has a background noise and sounds to it. That background noise are the ones we are adding now. Let's go into People folder and let's get close to the people in my scene. For example, let's drag and drop the sound of kids playing at night to my kids area here, and a background noise will play when we get near to that icon. When we select that icon, we have an option to audio on or off to notice the difference. When audio on, we can adjust the volume of that sound, the shape of the volume around that icon where that sound will play, whether it's a sphere volume or a box volume, and the size of that volume surrounding that icon. Let me input a size of 5 meter with the shape of box. We will see this thin orange wireframe of that box volume that has this sound effect. Outside that box, we can't hear anything. Once we go inside that volume, we will hear that sound effect. I encourage you to explore that sound library. Drag and drop sounds like this. Female crowd celebration. Coffee ambience. Bowling. And up in nature folder, we have sounds like calm sea on pebbles, calm forest, fountain, rainy and storm, underwater sounds, and more. In the city folder, we have sounds like alarm, busy highway, siren, passing airplane, trains indoor, subway, and more. And that's it about sounds volume, very useful when we export our design into a game-like file called BIM-Motion that we will learn to do later in this course. The next folder is called Reflections Probes. Inside it, we have two types of reflection probes volumes. One is spherical and the other is box. Their job is to improve reflection in only certain parts in our design. We will simply drag that volume in front of a glass or mirror materials to make it reflect better. We will use that later when we get to the render part of this course. And lastly, we have section folder. Inside it, we have section cube. By dragging and dropping it to our scene, it cuts out a section volume like that. We can change the color of the cut edge from here, thickness of that cut edge from here, enable or disable from here, and we can also invert to cut out what's outside the cube and leave the rest. And that's all about the volumes folder. Sections volume, water volumes, sounds volume, and reflection probes volumes.